All right. Good morning, guys. I wanted to, first of all, note that I'm praying for Charleston. I am sending my deepest condolences to the families that lost loved ones in the massacre that happened at Mother Emanuel in Charleston, South Carolina. I have family in Charleston, South Carolina. Um, they were not victims of the shooting, but this hits very close to home, not just because of me having family that lives very much near there, but also because I'm a Black American and you can't help but feel connected when things like this happen. As much as we sometimes attack one another and fight one another in a very visceral way, like we're all family, like all Black people across the country, because we're all connected. We all face that same oppression. We all face that same discrimination. And so when things like this happen, it hurts all of us. I've been up since 5 yesterday morning just watching the news. And I know that I shouldn't have, because we already could predict the response to this young man. They're going to try to make this an isolated event. This boy just went crazy. And we need to talk about mental health in America. We need to talk about gun violence in America. And it pissed me off because they never really said, they said what he said, in the fact that he said, oh, I'm here to kill Black people. He went to one of the most sacred, one of the most important A.M.E churches in the country that's been here for like over 150 years. They said like he killed 9 Black people. But it literally took them pretty much the whole 24-hour news cycle before they started to focus on the victims and their importance and the loss that the families were feeling. They spent the entire day focusing on this boy and trying to do everything they could to sidestep the issue of race in America. And I promise you guys, I made this video like probably 3 years ago, where I talked about America's history of violence, and I talked about slavery, and I talked about racism, and I talked about white supremacy. And that video maybe got 100 and something views, but you know, we've been having this discussion over and over and over and over as Black people in America. Every time you turn around, there's just more and more and more that shows you that no one cares about Black life. No one values Black life. Black bodies have no value in this country. And I get so passionate and so angry about this because every time you turn on the news, it seems like there's something happening. And literally, I was looking on Twitter and they were like, yeah, being woke, staying woke, being someone who stay woke is literally exhausting, because you notice everything that goes on in the media. You notice every violence that happens to Black people. And I'm not going to say people of color right now, because yes, violence is done to people of color around the world. But right now, today, I want to focus on Black people. Staying woke is a very difficult task, because you carry that pain around with you in your heart. You know, and I honestly, and I was telling my husband, I was like, I couldn't literally carry this stuff around with me every single day, because I would be depressed, I would be angry, I would be terrified every single day, and we can't live our lives like that as Black people. But I asked my mother, a question yesterday. I said, how did you guys do it? And when I said that, I meant like our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our great-great-grandmothers. How did they keep birthing black babies, raising black families, bringing black children into a world that hates them, that wants them dead, that doesn't care whether they live or die, whether they succeed or fail? It's terrifying. And it's honestly one of the reasons why Gracie is an only child and why she will probably continue to be an only child, because it's terrifying thinking about raising black children in this country, to me, because I am someone who's so connected, and I am someone who's constantly reading and researching and looking at the injustices that are done to black people on a consistent basis. It's terrifying. I remember with my students during the school year, we started out the year talking about, it happened right before school started, of course, Eric Garner and Mike Brown. We started out the year, we read W.E.B. Du Bois, Of Our Spiritual Strivings, from The Souls of Black Folks. And he talked about being stereotyped because of his race, because he was in England, because he was in Great Britain getting his college education. People automatically stereotyped him because he was the only black person there. And there were all these widely held beliefs about him because he was a black man. And we talked about how those stereotypes are still prevalent. In 2015, I had my students write a paper on different stereotypes that people have held about them based on their race. And most of my students are students of color, so they could easily identify with this. And we talked about Mike Brown. We talked about the media and how they portrayed him. And throughout the year, we talked about countless other black people who were harassed, beaten, killed by police throughout the year. And we pretty much ended the year talking about Walter Scott. And I didn't think that that would be a running theme throughout my curriculum in the school year, but it turned out to be, sadly. And it hurts me that this is something, and sadly, this is something that's not new. I really tried to open my students' eyes to let them see the reality. Like, you gotta wake up. You gotta stay woke. Because they're out here trying to kill us. Not trying to kill us. They're out here killing us. Of course, like I said, the narrative, once again, is this boy is mentally ill. He needs help. This was an isolated incident. We don't know what his motivation was, even though he said, I'm here to kill black people. I'm here to start a civil war, or whatever the roommate said. So you guys are still not going to say racism? Race? And this boy is 21? So yes, racism isn't going to die out when all the old white Republicans die. Not going to happen. They're teaching their children. And I told my husband this. I said, the same exact way we're already teaching Gracie about her body, and the way we're already teaching Gracie about how to interact with white people and how to interact with police and white authority figures and things of that nature. We have to teach our babies early. There was a 5-year-old in the church who played dead to survive this massacre. That just broke my heart. This baby. Our babies have to have survival skills from the womb. Our babies have to have survival skills out the womb to know how to survive in this country. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's one thing I will say is it is imperative, black people, that today, for the next few days, take your time and do whatever it is you need to do whatever it is that you need to do to try and maybe stay away from the media, stay away from the news, at least the 24-hour news cycle anyway, and do what you need to do to recuperate and to heal. We all feel this when this happens, even more so, obviously, the families of the victims. I've been watching the tweets of family members who found out It's just absolutely, it's heartbreaking. And honestly, I hate being right about this. I hate being right when I talk about systemic racism and systemic oppression and white supremacy and how this country was founded on those principles. No, maybe the racism is not burning crosses in people's yards anymore, but it still exists. And every time you deny black existence and say, I don't see color, you're perpetuating your choice to say, well, since I don't believe in racism, racism doesn't exist. And that is a lie. It's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. And white people, all them people that want to say, nigga, I ain't heard nothing from Rachel Dolezal today. You know, like all the white people that want to be down and you want to turn up and you want to call somebody nigga and you want to just be in black space. This is what it is. Do you want to be black today? Because this is what it is. Every day, you're carrying this around with you. And now, church is supposed to be, and I know black churches have been being attacked, burned down, blown up, shot. You know, I mean, all of these things since black churches existed. Way back in slavery. We know this. It was illegal at a certain point for the people at Mother Emanuel to even congregate, and that's black churches all over the country. It was like that, especially during slavery, and especially during the post-Civil War, during the Jim Crow era. They would come and burn churches to the ground. This is not new. We know this, but you would think that in 2015 that you could be safe in a black church, and that's the question of the day. Where can we be black? We can't go to the swimming pool. We can't walk down the street and go get some snacks. You know, it's just like, once again, we know how they're going to spin the narrative about this young man. But America has to wake up. Wake up. And that includes my fellow black people. Like, wake up. Y'all been asleep. Wake up. Because they're not here for you. They don't care about preserving you. They don't care about your well-being, your health, your life. They don't care. You have to care. And one of the things that I will say, and I know that you guys don't want me to come back to this, but I will, because I feel like as an intelligent, educated human being, I can have more than one thing on my mind at a time. This is where I will go back to Rachel Dolezal and say, the things that you purported to do in the name of black women completely erases the efforts, the work that actual black women are doing every single day. 6 black women killed in that church. All of them amazing women, wonderful women who were working in their communities, working for black people. I am one of those women who works for black people. I teach black students. I teach Hispanic students. Black women are out here. We help ourselves. I don't know if y'all seen that hashtag on Twitter, but you should see it. We help ourselves. We don't need you to come in and say, well, Rachel Dolezal is doing more for the black community than we do for ourselves. How do you know? How do you know what we're doing for ourselves? Have you done the research? Have you asked an actual black person what they're doing for their community? Because I guarantee you, I can name 10 off the top of my head, not including myself. All of the women that I know are doing something in their community to help the black community. Every black woman I know. Every day we fight for this. Every single day of our lives we fight, and we keep on, and we keep moving, and we keep procreating, and keep making black babies so that the next generation can be stronger than the last. And every day we wake up and we see that things really have not changed in this country. For us, not for you and your spray tan. You know, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm feeling so many different emotions, and I'm trying not to become submerged by depression, by anger. Today is Juneteenth, actually. It's about 5 in the morning, June 19th, and it's supposed to be a weekend of celebration. Here in Waco, they always have a parade. They always have a family day in the park. Juneteenth weekend, it's always a celebration. It's actually also my mother-in-law's birthday. And it's supposed to be a celebration, a time of celebration. And I think that everybody's hearts are going to be heavy. It's not going to be the same. Every time something like this happens, it just casts a dark cloud over everyone's head. And I just encourage everyone, do whatever you need to do. Self-care. Keep yourself healthy. Eat something today, guys. Make sure you're getting some rest. It was hard for me to sleep. I've been up since 4 a.m. It's been hard for me to sleep, but do what you need to do today, guys, to preserve yourself. And stay woke, man. Stay woke. We already know what's going to happen to this boy. We already know that there's a clear difference in the way that he was treated versus the way that the countless black men and women have been treated just in the past year by authority figures, by police. Like I said, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, a young black girl was thrown to the ground, police boot in her back, and this boy gets a bulletproof vest and he gets safely strapped into a police squad car. Freddie Gray didn't even get that. He didn't even get a seatbelt, and he didn't do anything to anybody. Stay woke, y'all.